we're going to look at solving equations recap. So what I'd like you to do, like always, we're going to do our smart start. So I want you to write down the date and the title and make sure they are underlined with a ruler. And then what you're going to do is you're going to have a go at the starter questions. So pause the video now and have a go at the starter questions. Okay, so the first question, find the HCF and LCM of A and B. So what we should have realised is that with these numbers, I'm going to be looking to try and do a Venn diagram. So I'm going to draw my box to outline my Venn, and I'm going to draw some very poor circles in between them, and this is for circle A and B. In order to populate my Venn diagram, I need to know, well, what values are going to be in the centre. I've got 2 cubed and 2 squared, so therefore I can fit 2 2's in the centre, and now I've only got a 2 left over. I've got 3 squared and a 3, so I can fit a 3 in the centre, and I've only got 1 3 left. I've got 5 cubed and a 5, so I can fit a 5 in the centre because it is common, but now that is just 5 squared, and I've got a 7. So how else am I going to do this? On the outside, in the A section, well, if we look, I've got a 2 and a 3 left over. So in the A section, I've got a 2 and a 3. In the B section, well, I've got nothing here, nothing here. I've got 5 squared and a 7. So I can write 5 squared. Actually, I'm going to write 2 5's and a 7. Now, if you remember, how do I do my highest common factor? Well, my highest common factor is all my values in the centre multiplied. So that would be 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. I'm going to write that in index form, 2 squared times 3 times 5. Lovely. My lowest common multiple, I can do the same thing, but this time it's every value multiplied together. So I've got 1, 2, 3 2's, so it's 2 cubed. I've got 2 3's, so it's 3 squared. I've got 3 5's, so it's times 5 cubed. And I've got a 7. So that would be how I'd answer the number recap. Having a look at the next one, we're just looking at substitution. So given that A is equal to 3 and B is equal to negative 5, work out the value of 3A plus B. So it's 3 lots of 3 plus negative 5. Remember, we always do the substitution, and I would initially put them in brackets. This is going to give me 3 times 3, which is 9, plus negative 5, which is take away 5, so that is 4. The next one is going to give me 3, take away negative 5. 3 take away negative 5 is going to give me 3 plus 5, which is 8. And the last question, if 7 pens cost £4.20, how much will 9 pens cost? Well, in last episode, or last video, we looked at ratio, and we looked at setting up a ratio, and the way we did that was we said something like 7 is going to be equivalent to £4.20, and I want to know what 9 is going to cost. Luckily, we explored a method of how to do this. If I've got a 7, I'm going to find 1, and then I'm going to go to 9. So 7 to 1 is, well, divided by 7, then times 9. 4.2 divided by 7 is going to give me, well, that's going to give me 0.6. And then timesing by 9 is going to give me £5.40. Lovely. The challenge question. If 24 is equal to 2 cubed times 3, find 48 cubed. So we need to sort of spot relationships here. 24 to 48, how do I do that? And then if I think about 48 to 48 cubed. So I know that 24 is equal to 2 cubed times 3. Well, 24 times 2 is 48. So 48 must be, well, I've times by an extra 2, so 48 must be 2 to the 4 times by 3. Now, how can I use that? Well, I can think about 48 as a whole thing being cubed. So therefore the prime factors can be cubed as well. So it's going to be 2 to the 4 times 3, all cubed. When we multiply through, I'm going to write the power in here. When we multiply in powers, we add them. When we have a power to the power, we're going to multiply. So this is going to give me 2 to the power of 12 times 3 to the power of 3. Lovely, really well done if you got that. So the next task is going to be our atomization, and it's going to be slightly different to what we normally do. So we're going to run through this as a class essentially. So the first one, I'd like you to just write down number 1, 13 minus x equals 10, pause the video, and then when you're ready to go through it. Lovely, so we should have realised that if I've got 13 take away x is equal to 10, most of us would have been able to say x is equal to 3 straight away, but I want to show us why. What we would do is add x to both sides to make it positive, which is going to give me 13 is equal to 10 plus x. And then if we take away 10, we're going to get 3 is equal to x. So I'll show you that just as I rub this out. So 3 is equal to x. Now the next one, pause the video, copy it in, write out the answer. Again, I know most of us would be able to do this straight away. We need to divide by 4. Dividing by 4 in this case is going to give me, well, 4x is equal to 2. Divided by 4 is going to give me x is equal to 2 over 4. And I'd hope a few of you would have written that as a half. Good, next one. And again, dividing by 4, we're going to do the inverse, so I'm going to multiply by 4. This is going to give me x is equal to negative 8. And the last one I'd like you to have a look at, 4 divided by x is equal to 2. Now this is actually a two-step equation because we're going to have to multiply across by x because it's at the bottom, it's trapped by a fraction, I want to get rid of that, so I'm going to multiply, and that's going to give me 4 is equal to 2x. And then I'm going to divide by 2, so when I divide by 2, I'm going to get x is equal to 2. Sorry if you can't quite see that, it says 2 is equal to x, x is equal to 2. I'm going to show you the next 4 questions. I want you to write them in, do your workings out, and then go about trying to find the answer. So for the first one, what we should be doing is adding x and then taking away 10 like we did in question 1, and we should get an answer of x is equal to negative 5. For the next one, we're going to be dividing by 8 the coefficient of x because I want it on its own, so I should get negative 20 over 8. And that's going to simplify to negative 10 over 4 and negative 5 over 2. Happy to leave it like that. If you did negative 2.5, that's fine. The next one, my x is on the top, it's trapped by a fraction with a negative 2, multiply across, I get x is equal to positive 8, because negative 2 times negative 4, positive 8. Good. And finally, the last one, I'm going to multiply across by x, divide by 8, I'll get x is equal to a half. Well done. For this set of questions, 9, 10, 11 and 12, I'm going to go through number 9 together. So I'd like you to pause the video and copy it down. And this is an example of a two-step question. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to get x on its own. At the moment, x is here, it's being times by 2 and then adding 5. So I need to get rid of it in that reverse operation. So I'm taking away 5, getting rid of that, and I'm getting rid of the times by 2. So I'm going to take away 5 first. That's going to leave me with 2x on the left hand side. 13, take away 5 is 8. Now if 2x is equal to 8, I want to know what x is. Divide by 2, and that's going to give me x is equal to 4. Perfect. I'd like you to have a go at 5x take away 2 equals 28. X over 3 minus 2, and the final one. So have a go at these for me, please. And good, so for the first one, we should be adding 2 to get 5x equals 30. Dividing by 5, we should get x is equal to 6. For the next one, adding 2 to get x over 3 equals 7. Times by 3, we get x equals 21. And for the last one, I've got x minus 2 on the top, all divided by 3. I need to times by 3 to get x minus 2 equals 15, then add 2 to get x is equal to 17. Really well done if you had a go at those. What I'd like you to do now is we're going to go into our learn in your turn. So we're in respect for the whole class. I'm going to go through one example, give you a question to have a go at, then another example, give you a question to have a go at. So, my example, we have looked at something very similar to this. What I first of all need to realise is I've got x on one side and I've got an x on another, and I want to somehow bring them together onto one side. Ideally, I want that to be positive, so I'm going to get rid of a 3x, because 5x take away 3x is going to give me something positive. So my first step is to take away 3x. That's going to leave me with the left hand side of 2x plus 8 is equal to 14. Then what I'm going to do is take away 8 from both sides. And that's going to give me 2x is equal to 6. And then I have to divide by 2, and I'd get x is equal to 3. Perfect. Pause the video, make sure you've written that in, and have a go at your question. So, for your question, what we should have seen is take away 3x from both sides to get 4x plus 15 is equal to 23. Take away 15 and we'd get 4x is equal to 8. Good, and then divided by 4, we're going to get x is equal to 2. Now, when we did this in class, this is a type of question we focused a lot on. I just wanted to show you because we're now going to move on to the next example, which is one we didn't have enough time to look at. So, what we should notice is now I've got a positive x value and a negative x value. So this time, I am still going to use the same idea of taking away the smaller x, but I'm not going to look at the sort of magnitude of a number. I'm just going to think about what's easiest for me. It's going to be the easiest thing for me to just add 2x to both sides, because that gets rid of the problem of us having negative, and it also allows us to get this x value on one side. So adding 2x is going to give me 8x plus 3 is equal to 5. Perfect. Now I've just got an equation. We know how to solve this. Inverse operations. Take away 3 from both sides. I get 8x is equal to 2. Divide by 8. I get x is equal to 2 over 8, which is a quarter. Make sure you've got that in, then have a go at this question and pause the video. Lovely, so what you should do is you should be adding across 2x, and that's going to give you 10x plus 5 is equal to 10. We should be taking away 5, and that should give me 10x is equal to 5, and then we're going to be dividing by 10. And that will give me x is equal to 5 over 10, which is a half. So we are going to focus on some questions which are like the last two examples that you've looked at. So I'm going to show you the questions here underneath. So hopefully, just make that the right size. Hopefully you can see those okay. What I'd like you to do, pause the video, try and have a go as many questions as you can, and then when you come back, the answers will be on. Lovely, so hopefully you pause the video. I'm going to put the answers on. Excellent, well done today. I'll see you in the next one.